Hi, welcome to the second coming of unbelief. I've already told my story, a couple of videos. I've already made at least two videos about the people who just flat out preach against everything that Jesus actually taught us to do, but they still claim the blessings of God and they demonize everybody who doesn't align with their ideology. Um, I began my deconstruction 10 years ago. Um, I can't go back. I just, I know too much now. I can't, there's no way I can ever go back. Um, so today I want to talk about 6 issues that have brought me to where I am today. Now, let me take a quick step aside. Because I live in Taiwan, I have been to Buddhist temples and Taoist temples. I've seen the Buddhist and Taoist forms of worship. And so I went straight from belief in a Christian deity to belief in zero deities. I did not follow in the steps of many foreigners. Many foreigners come to Taiwan, chunk Christianity out the window, and become Buddhist. But I'd already seen that. So I went straight from Christianity to unbelief. Okay? Now, the first issue was just the obvious contradictions. Okay? Uh, was Joseph killed? Was Joseph sold to the Midianites? Was he sold to the Canaanites? Was there one demoniac? Were there two demoniacs? They're just just obvious contradictions that cannot possibly be. Did Judas hang himself? Did Judas fall down? Just too many contradictions. Number two um, is what I believe growing up. The Bible was written from start to finish. Grandfather passed to son, grandfather passed to son, passed to grandson. Yeah, the Bible was not written that way. It was written well after the fact. There's no history. Well, it wasn't a newspaper journalistic type of recording history. It was recording mythology just like the Greeks. Mythology to make themselves, the Jews, look good. Okay. Um, issue 3. All throughout the Bible, if you are a recipient of God's blessing, God gives you wealth. And with the financial gains, God often gave additional wives. Uh, one wife is plenty for me. That I cannot, for the life of me, even begin to imagine having 2, 3, 4 wives. And while we're on the subject of multiple wives, Solomon is said to have 300 wives and 700 concubines. Have you done the math? If Solomon never took a night off and had a different wife or concubine every night, it would have taken him 3.5 years to make the circuit if he never got a night off. And if you were one of the harem, that means you didn't do anything on the side. That means you had to wait 3.5 years to get some again. That's a wild exaggeration. Never happened. Slavery. Why is slavery never condemned? Um, we know it's wrong now, and this is the eternal word of God from God held the pen. No, of course he didn't. Why is slavery never condemned? And I got to thinking, so here's issue 5. we don't have any graves. Now, Josiah was probably a real king. Hezekiah was probably a real king. We don't have their graves. And we don't have their graves. What about the grave of David? David is the greatest king that ever lived. His son Solomon built the temple. Where are their graves? They don't exist. We don't know where they died. Probably because they never were a historical person. There's no archaeological evidence of the Exodus. You know, the firstborn died, all the livestock died, the grain crops died, the trees were beat to death, the firstborn of all Egyptians killed, and there is no record of this kind of an economic collapse anywhere in Egyptian history. And they were able to write at that time that the Exodus is said to have occurred. There's no archaeological evidence of the wandering in the Sinai Desert. There's absolutely zero archaeological evidence of the conquest of Canaan. The walls of Jericho never fell down, not by Joshua. And the second city mentioned, Ai, the word Ai means heap of ruins. There was no city Ai. There was no city. Okay? And the DNA of the Jews matches perfectly with the DNA of the Palestinians. There was no, it didn't happen the way it was written. And the last issue that I'll cover today is that the idea that apart from the Bible, there is no morality. Well, that's just crap. That's horse crap. That would mean that everybody in Asia is constantly killing, raping, and stealing. Everybody in North and South America is constantly doing all that. Everybody in Africa have to wait till the missionaries to stop all those naughty things. Well, that didn't happen. It wasn't that way. So there is morality aside from the Christian scriptures. If there were no morality aside from the Christian scriptures, then we'd all be hermits, living alone because we couldn't get along with anybody. All right, well, that's enough for today. Thank you so much for watching Second Coming of Unbelief, and I will catch you in the next video.